In this video, I want to show off the actual approval process within an event. So there's already another video for the VMS approval flowchart, but this is a real-world example. So here we have Introduction to Wildlife Survival, Ew Spiders. So I've got just the basics in here. It is a member engagement workshop. The approval is going to go through the region as opposed to national. I've got a base address in here. I do not yet require a waiver, and that'll come into play later. And I've got my basic description, session details. I don't have anything else in logs, comms, finance at all, or an instructor. And I'm going to go skip right down to the event status and approval section, where you can see that I haven't yet submitted for approval, so this whole thing is draft. And that means that the final approval level is set to pending at the moment, and the overall status is set to draft, like we said. Right now, because this is a no-cost event, there's no funding requested at this moment. Because it's a no-cost event and there's no waiver involved, it can be handled with just one approval level. This is typically going to be some kind of district coordinator or a city admin, or probably a volunteer somewhere at that level, volunteer leader. And so let's start by changing it to have a waiver required. We'll go ahead and save it. And because now there's a waiver involved, that should bump it up. Now we have a second approval level. And the second approver, that level is typically going to be reserved for associates, maybe senior associates, because back in the day, certain people had the ability to create waivers. And even though we got rid of the approval waiver, we still wanted to go through some kind of paid staff or territory employee if there's going to be a waiver required. So now we have level 2. This is still not based on anything financial yet, so let's add some money. Let's say that we're going to need $300 for meals, and let's say we need another $300 for lodging. The associates are able to pay for or approve anything up to $500. So when we hit save here, we'll see that this should bump the total funding up to $600, and that will likely force in now the third level of approver. The third level can approve anything, I believe, from $500 to either $1,500 or $2,000, somewhere in there. And so if we keep adding stuff, like maybe we need $1,000 for airfare and $350 for printing, and we need to rent some trucks, and so we got another $500 worth of trucks as an example. And just for fun, let's say that we have 10 people that are going to be going 100 miles. Let's go ahead and save that and see where we're at here. 2,400. Let's do another 2,000 in other. Just I want to bump up to the upper threshold so I can demonstrate what's going on. So we've got 44.95. That now bumped us up to level 4. In this case, this metro happens to be, for testing purposes, we've got Jonas in both places, but it's typically going to be different people. Let's say that for whatever reason, we ordered another $10,000 worth of business cards. Let's see what that does. Let's go ahead and save it. Now our total is $14,495, and just to bump it over, we're going to put in $500 worth of fuel. Just want to get it over the $15,000 limit. Missed it by 10 bucks. There we go. So now if we go down, now we can see we added a 5th level. So Nicole is able to go, I believe, from 15,000 up to 25,000. And if we were to add another 250 people are requesting mileage. Now we're up over 25,000. That's going to bring in the COO, whoever's at this level. So anything above 25,000 all the way up to infinity is going to be still approved by approval level 6. And so you can see kind of what happens as the dollar amounts go up. Now we still have this in draft mode because I haven't submitted for approval. So let's say that I went through everything. It looks good to me as a submitter. I'm gonna actually I'll write some notes first. So that's my note to the first approver as the submitter. I'll go ahead and click on submit, hit save, and then what should happen is it starts going through the list of approvers. It's going to go to the first person and send that person a note that will say something along the lines of, this particular event was just submitted for approval, please check it out, and basically like let us know if you approve it. Now when we look at the email for the first approver, in this case it happens to be me, it says, hey, this has been submitted by, in this case, D365 developer. And the reason that it shows that is because that is the name of the event lead. So even though I'm the one currently shooting the video, it actually will show up as coming from the event lead and is pending my review in order to proceed. Here's the notes that the person that submitted it put in, and I can click here to go right back to that event, but obviously I still have it up here. So now I am the approver. I would come in and I've got options of either not approved, approved, or not applicable. I can hit approved, put in whatever note I want, and then I still have to hit this button here in order to kind of make it official. Go ahead and hit save, and then what it should do is mine will get marked as approved, and then it will send an email to the next person in line and show this as pending. So in this case, Kathy just got an email. So she'll be prompted to come in and take a look. She will mark it as approved or not, or she'd write notes back to the submitter saying, hey, you need to change this or that. And then if she were to set it to not approved, then those notes would go back to the submitter so that they can work on whatever the situation is. So then it would walk through all the different steps until the final approver checks it. And just to simulate that, I'm going to go through and approve everything. This is something that only certain people have the ability to do. Basically, any approver at whatever level they are has the ability to go in and approve everything below them. So Art can approve everything, Jonas can approve levels 1 through 4 in this case. And we'll go through and submit here. And hit save. Now with all 6 levels of approval completed, you can see that the overall event status went to approved, and the final approval is also set to approved, and so essentially this one's ready to go. Now above and beyond approval, the event status can also be changed to published, and as soon as I hit published, that will trigger this event to also go out to the event calendar and start showing up there as well. So it's important to note that you don't have to wait to publish until the thing is approved, depending on how your territory wants to handle it. They are 2 separate things. So you can publish something even before it's gone through all the levels of approval if the person that sets it to publish believes that everything else is fine. It's just a matter of, you know, tweaking last minute things. Like, we know we're going to do the event, and so we want to start getting signups for it. But it's, you know, not all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed, and so it's not quite approved yet, even though, you know, we know we're going to do it. So the publish of the event can happen totally independent of the overall approval, and each territory will handle that a little bit different. That's it for this video. If you see anything out of whack and want to send us a note, go ahead and send an email to the email address that you see on the screen, and we'll see you in the next video.